We are back. It is week 16. Let's talk about week 16. Al, the season is basically over.
Yeah, man. This is wild. Like, we are 3 weeks of regular season football left. It's still weird to me that we have an 18-week season, but that's what it is. And yeah, it seems like yesterday we did the preview episode. It flies.
Yeah, totally agree. All right. You want to talk about an interesting game. Oh, wait. I did it again. This is your gig.
Mm, all good. Watch how fast we can do this. Ready? This is what you were just about to say. What a fascinating matchup, my man. Broncos at Chargers. Whoa.
I mean, the Chargers have been concerning the last couple of weeks, so this would have been easier if it was in Denver, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Chargers have to be in like desperation mode. They have to win this game. But Denver has won four in a row, and they look fantastic. They look so good. I am so impressed with them. I've been impressed with them all season.
Yeah.
So even with the Chargers at home, and I think they're going to be in desperation mode because they need this game. If they lose this, then we got to really start considering they might not make the playoffs, or just reassessing them in general. But I think we're going to be doing that because I still have Denver. I have Denver 28-20.
Very interesting, my man. Very interesting. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. This is just a fascinating two teams on the rise. One really hot lately with the Broncos, and one stumbling a little bit with the Chargers, but still both having very impressive seasons. I'm worried about the Chargers with their lack of run game right now, and the Broncos are good enough on defense that the Chargers being very good on defense is makes it a bit of a wash. And I think the Broncos have a better offense right now, which is surprising me that I'm saying that. But yeah, so I'm going to take the Broncos too on the road, man. It's interesting. I thought we might be different there, but we're not. And I'm going to make it real close. I'm going to make it 20-17.
Yeah, I like your score better because their defenses are both very good. So 28-20 is probably a little too high. I'll stick with it, obviously. But I don't think this is going to be a very high scoring game because the defenses on both sides are good. Chargers are good before last week, anyway,
Yeah,
about not giving up a lot of points. And Denver's defense has been good pretty much all year.
no doubt, man. Yeah, and then just to hammer that home, and then we'll move on. Denver, they are tied with the Eagles, as we said in the last pod, at 17.6 games allowed for best in the league on defense, and the Broncos are allowing 315 yards a game, and the Chargers are allowing 336, both in the top 10. So they're very, very good defenses. Really interesting game.
Yeah, I like your score better. 20-17 seems a little more plausible. But either way, um, yeah, I'm ready to move on if you are.
You got it, my man. We have two Saturday games this week, and one of them, I thought real hard about throwing out a caveat. I ended up not doing it. I'm curious to see what you're doing. Texans at Chiefs.
Well, I caveated.
Okay, I bet it's what I was thinking about doing.
Well, the thing is, if he plays, it doesn't matter, and I think he is going to play, but I'm just guarding against if he doesn't.
I understand entirely.
So if Mahomes plays, Kansas City 23-16. If Mahomes doesn't, I have Houston pulling off the upset.
Love it, love it.
23. I mean, we always do this. We always just keep the score the same, so I just kept it 23-16.
Yeah, I totally respect that. That's my move too. Yep.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, and by the way, I think he's going to. It looks like he's leaning that way. But if he doesn't, I do want to have the guard against that. If he doesn't, I think Houston will have a real shot. They need the game, and we'll see. It is in Kansas City, but if it's who's the backup? I always forget.
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been brutal the last couple of years. I mean, I don't really understand, but um, yeah, if it's Carson Wentz, I'll go with Houston.
Love it. I that was almost what I did. I just decided not to, but I very easily could have. I'm going Chiefs 19-16 either way, whoever quarterback plays. I just think they're good enough on defense to have like the Texans' offense has looked like ass for a long time, other than when Mixon is playing well. Their passing game has been garbage all year. It's so weird. I don't understand it. Even with the offensive line woes, I guess that's it. But there's some regression there with Stroud too. I don't fully understand it. And I think the Chiefs' defense is enough to give them problems. And even dealing with the Carson Wentz thing. Now, Wentz can be a wild card. Man. Listen, he was an Eagle. He was going to be the MVP the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and
Yeah,
until he got hurt,
absolutely.
and then he's been awful ever since. So, and he has a propensity for really bad turnovers. He loses his head in key moments, and but he's had half three quarters of a season under one of the best quarterback whisperers in the history of pro football. And maybe they'll make him good enough not to do anything stupid and blow the game. So I'm just going to leave out the caveat and take the Chiefs 1916.
Did you hear about Hollywood Brown might be returning?
Oh, yeah, yeah. He practiced all last week and is almost definitely coming back this week from what I'm hearing.
That'll be very interesting.
And did you hear how they made room for him on the roster?
No, what they do?
This was interesting too because it's the end of one of the bigger busts at the running back position in the last few years. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, more power to you, buddy. Good luck to you. His time in
Wow.
KC is done.
Wow. And you know what? You're right about the bus thing. I mean, he came in with as much hype as I can remember from anybody
Oh
and completely I mean, just did not live up to it. His first year was okay.
yeah,
And then
that's right.
after that, just a dumpster fire.
That's 100% accurate. And yeah, I mean, massive expectations because he was rolling into, well, at that point, that was the Chiefs' juggernaut offense. It wasn't the Chiefs of the last 2 years. You know what I mean? And
Right.
people expected him to just roll it, walk into the lineup and get 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns without even thinking about it. And his rookie year, he got 850 yards or so, and that was his best year by far.
Yeah, I think he had some receiving yards that year, too.
He did. He did. You're right. He probably was somewhere. You know what? Since it's probably the last we're going to hear of old Clyde, let's do him the respect of actually giving the actual stats. Uh,
His receiving stats that year.
let's see here.
I bet you he came close to 1,000
I bet he might have
total
passed it.
yards.
It wouldn't surprise me if he passed it. You're probably right. Here we go. 2020 receiving. Okay, 36 catches for 297 yards, and he rushed for 803 yards. I gave him a little more than he actually had. So he had
Yep.
1,100 total yards.
Yep. Yep.
So and year two, dude, he was drafted by fantasy people like he was going to be Marcus Allen in his prime,
Yep.
and he ended up playing only 10 games that year and having 517 yards. So yeah, it's a shame, but that's how they cleared space for the imminent return of Hollywood Brown. Man,
That'll be fascinating.
all of a sudden, the Chiefs receiving core. And hang with me on this one. Tell me if I'm crazy. Starting to feel a little bit like the Buffalo Bills, where they piece together decent pieces. No,
Yeah.
nobody's. You know what I mean?
And to tell you what, next year, if Brett Hollywood's still there and Rice comes back with Worthy in his second year, not so bad.
Yeah, and Worthy's been stepping up lately, man. Like
Yeah.
he's been looking like more and more like a potential future real player. So yeah, all of a sudden, the absolute garbage it looked like a while ago looks pretty darn good for next year. Because yeah, Rashee Rice is still sitting out there, and he was great as a rookie. So yeah, I'm with you. Fascinating.
Yep.
All right, anything else on that one?
I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Well, Saturday is delivering, man, because game two is the Steelers at the Ravens.
Okay. Now, after Pittsburgh lost to Philly, and we reviewed it in the last pod. I said that I didn't dock Pittsburgh much in my mind, and I expect next week they're going to return to form. The problem is this week they're playing Baltimore, and Baltimore has revenge on their mind because if you remember, Pittsburgh beat them earlier in the year. They
Mm-hmm.
need to get that win back. This is important to Baltimore, and I think they're actually going to do it. So I am picking Pittsburgh to lose again. Baltimore 26-21. Close game, but I think Baltimore's going to get that win back. They need it.
Yeah, it's a real interesting thing, man. I'm desperately trying to find this damn stat. Um, and wow, oh, I found it. But let me say this first. So this was a really hard one to pick because, like you, even though the Eagles handled them pretty well, there's a lot. I haven't heard. It doesn't sound like Pickens is coming back this week, but I don't think it's been ruled out. So that's a big fat maybe. Um, if he's out, it's a big factor because they just don't have enough offensive weapons to make up for his loss. Mike Williams is not George Pickens at this point in his career.
No.
So, but all that being said, I still am leaning towards the damn Ravens, and I've been overestimating them all year.
Yep.
And I mean, for how long was I saying they were? I thought they might be the best team in the AFC. Them or the Chiefs, and they're sitting here with 5 losses. So
Yep.
this was a tough one, man. But I'm going Ravens too. I'm going 26-21. If Pickens plays, I thought about doing a caveat, but I'm going to stick with it and just pick the Ravens. But here's why this is extra tough because the Ravens just lose to the Steelers all the time.
Yeah.
They have lost four out of the last 5 and 8 out of the last 9.
Yeah. Yeah. So we should be we should be picking Pittsburgh, but I think Baltimore's going to get it done this time.
They're just playing so well. Like he just played so well last week and blah, blah, blah. Man, and I've got Lamar Jackson on 3 of my fantasy playoff teams, and he stinks against the Steelers. His stats against the Steelers are awful. So I'm sweating this, dude. So I hope we're right. Oh, I love it.
What's your
Anything
score?
else on that one?
What's your score?
Oh, 26-21 Ravens.
What?
What was yours? Did you say what was yours?
26-21 Ravens.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about it when you said it. Holy shit. That's 2 weeks in a row.
That's happened way too often this year. Uh, and we say it every time, but we do not talk about this beforehand. This is not planned. This is a complete mystery to me why it happens as often as it does. The exact same score.
That's wild, man. I mean,
Now, more than anything, I want it to be 26-21 Ravens because
for
that would
real.
just make it even more ridiculous.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I think if that happens, I think the what happens when that happens, Craig, is you instantly get hired by ESPN.
You get rehired.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
All right.
Okay, moving to Sunday, and I'm battling a cold, so forgive my coughing. Give me
No
one
worries.
sec. Okay, I think I worked it out. Now, Giants at Falcons. And what a better team. Is there a better possible circumstance for Michael Penix to make his debut than playing against this Giant team?
Yeah. I think Michael Penix is going to get welcomed into the NFL with a big fat W. And I think he's going to look good doing it because it is the Giants. I don't know what it's going to mean from here on out. I don't know if they're going to be able to sneak into the playoffs. Um, they're on that downward trajectory for a little while now. They had that ugly win last week, but I have the Falcons just because they're at home. The Giants are just so bad. So 23-13, Falcons win over the Giants.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you made a lot of sense. I mean, we have freaking Tim Boyle starting a quarterback for the Giants this week. So there's, as bad as the Falcons have been, and as much of a wild card as this whole going to Penix thing is, he honestly can't be any worse than Cousins has been for the last month. So it's got to be, at the very least, it's going to be the same. And my bet is that it'll be a little better at the very least. So, all that being said, I'm saying they kick their butt and Bijan Robinson goes off 27-10 Falcons.
Yeah, I mean at this point you can't go any other way.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it would be hard if the Giants were at home to even think about picking them, but certainly not on the road.
Well, all right.
Okay. Well, next one you got the decimated Lions against the horrible Chicago Bears at Chicago.
Well, this is one where I hope Detroit's injuries are not going to play a factor. They can maybe heal up a little bit for this week, um, and not press anybody in terms of anybody who's like teetering, may play, may not play, and still be able to handle their business. I mean, Chicago, they're done. They're just playing it out now. They need a new coach, so you can't even really evaluate Caleb at this point.
Yep.
So I'm going Detroit, and I'm going pretty comfortable, 30-16.
Okay. Okay. Um, you understand that little gleeful chuckle in a second because I am picking the Lions. Not the same this time. It's not that crazy, but 33-19. Just add 3 points to each one of your scores.
Awesome.
I love it. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this. The Lions. All I'll say is a decimated Lions team is still way better than this awful Bears team. Lions easy.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool. Okay. Well, in the can't ever figure this team out category, the Cardinals go to Carolina and play the Panthers.
What is the line on this game? Do you have that?
I have the Cardinals -4.
Okay. All right. I
Panthers are
I
right
picked.
back to being underdogs, by the way.
Yep. I have it is in Carolina, and before last week I was liking what I saw. So I think Carolina can go back to playing well again. I think I'll give them the 1 week reprieve for whatever reason, however, whatever it happened, whatever the reason was. Maybe Dallas's defense played just their best game of the year, or something like that. Regardless, I have Arizona winning, but it's only by one, 27-26, and Carolina's my upset pick.
Oh, I love it. Love it. And that makes a lot of sense. I'm just writing that upset down real quick, and then I'll jump in with this. Okay, so the a lot of what you said, I'm with. I mean, almost everything. The Panthers had a nice, solid little run there that ended with getting destroyed by the Cowboys, but I still think they're better than they were. I don't think they're back to being just god awful again. Hopefully for their sake, anyway, and hopefully for Bryce Young. Um, but here's the overriding factor in picking the Cardinals in this game, other than just I think they're a better team, is the Panthers are they have a lot of decent things about this team. They're hopeful for the future for them. But one thing they can't do is cover tight ends. They're the worst in the league in covering tight ends. 32nd in fantasy points allowed to tight ends out of 32 teams. And guess who the Cardinals have? Trey McBride. He will go off and they will win 24-15.
What about if he is he going to get in the end zone?
You know, that's, I'm almost, even though I have him on two of my teams, I'm almost rooting against it. I almost want him to get like 15 catches for 147 yards and no touchdowns.
So you want him to get 100 catches and 1,000 yards and have no touchdowns on the season?
If he gets, I think it was 17 away from 100 catches and he was 70 yards or so away from 1,000. So he could get the yardage this week and 2 weeks for the catches. And I would love it would amuse me to no end. Although my fantasy teams would love if he did get in the end zone, but I'll take it either way.
Fantastic. I'm sorry.
I
What was
love
your
it.
score?
24-15 Cardinals.
All right.
Okay. Fun, fascinating one coming up next. And guess who all of a sudden has ascended to leading this NFC West that we've been fascinated with all season? The Rams. The Rams are now leading that damn division, and I can't believe we're finally there. And they're at the Jets. What do you think about this one?
Well, I mean, we mentioned it last pod. The Jets are looking functional,
Hmm.
which is weird to say,
Yes, it is.
but they are. They're looking much better.
Agreed.
And Rodgers, I do believe Rodgers was banged up earlier in the year, and he looks a lot healthier. He led the team in rushing last game with 45 yards on the ground.
That's wild.
Um, and they are at home. They're not playing for anything, and the Rams are. Even with them playing a little better, I got to go with the Rams. They need this game. They can't drop this one. They need to stockpile as many wins as they can because everybody is so bunched together in that West, and they've got the lead right now. And the only way they're going to keep it is if they just keep winning. They control their own destiny. They win out, they're going to be the winner. So they have to win this one, and I'm going to give it to them 26-20.
Okay, okay. Yeah, man. Listen, this is harder to, well, I don't know. I don't even want to say that because the Rams are up and down all year too. But the Rams, I have had this weird belief in all year, and finally it's becoming justified. and
Yeah,
and now I'm going to pick them, and they're going to lose to the Jets. But no, this is I think where maybe they finally establish themselves as the team that's going to win. And I'll tell you what, all of a sudden there are two teams in this in the NFC that are going to make me nervous that don't have great records. If the Eagles or whoever the top team that gets them, they're going to be nervous too, and that's this Rams team and the Buccaneers.
yeah.
I mean, the
Especially Philly.
Buccaneers.
The last two times you played them, they beat you both times, and one was the playoffs.
Exactly, man. Exactly. They have some kind of thing over us right now, which hopefully will end. But different coaches, so hopefully that doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
But they just destroyed a team that you and I both think fairly highly of in the Chargers. So, yeah. And then the Rams. What are they? 4-game win streak now, and have taken over the division. So I'm going to pick them on the road, 28-24 Rams.
Close one.
Yeah, just because it's on the road and the Jets have shown something the last couple weeks.
Totally agree.
All right, my man. Now, let's see where are we going next. Okay, Titans at Colts.
All right. This is talk about a game I don't have any interest in.
Perfect.
Maybe see Anthony Richardson a little bit, see what, but even that, I'm not that excited to really to watch.
It's ugly.
Um, yeah, so I'm gonna just throw out the score 19-18, Colts because they're at home, but they're a little better too. Tennessee is awful. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Indianapolis isn't quite that, but they're not very good either. 19-18 in an ugly game.
Yeah, man. And listen, that's completely a million times over legit. However, is this going to be our first difference, Craig? Or do we have one other one?
No, this is our first one.
Okay, and here's where and this is such a funny thing to ride or die on, but I am going Titans, and it's 100% because it's Mason Rudolph and not Will Levis, and and that sounds nuts, but it's wild to think, but I believe it's 100% accurate that the Titans are going to have way better quarterback play this weekend.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Titans 23-16.
All right. I mean, I could definitely see it. That's not out of the realm for sure.
Yeah, it's probably a little crazy, but I'm going to try
No, you're right though,
it.
because I know you liked Rudolph before because earlier in the year I think you caveated that if Levis plays they were going to lose, but if Rudolph plays they were going to win.
Correct. And then Levis played and they won.
Right, and you caveated your way out of the win.
That's exactly right. So all that big diatribe of mine will probably result in a Titans loss. All right, man. Now, two more 1 o'clockers. Next one, Browns, who now have Dorian Thompson Robinson, or how the three name guy as their starter against the Bengals in Cincinnati.
Okay, I think Cincinnati takes care of business here, right?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
They're scoring 30 points a game every game, so I'm going to give them 30 again.
Love it.
32-24. Cleveland's playing it out. Now Chubb is gone. They need to straighten this whole thing out in this offseason. They got to get working on it. Start getting pointed in the right direction. And so that's their end of it. Cincinnati also kind of playing it out. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're fun. They have a great offense, and I think they're just they're going to do what they do, which is score 32 points. But because their defense is so bad, even a bad Cleveland team, I'm giving them 24.
I love it.
32-24.
Makes perfect sense. Absolutely. Yeah, this one isn't. I didn't have to think hard about this. This is the Bengals. Um, And I'm going to go even bigger than you did. And listen, I agree 100% with what you said about the Bengals defense. It does stink. However, I think Dorian Thomas Robinson, whose name I promise, if he beats the Bengals this week, I will learn his name.
Isn't it Thompson?
Dorian Thompson Robinson, is that it?
I think. I
Okay.
don't even know for sure.
We're going to go with DTR. How about that?
Yeah,
DTR. All right, sweet. If DTR beats the Bengals this week, I will learn his name, every syllable of it. But because the little I've seen of him so far, unless he goes crazy on his feet, which is definitely possible because he has that in him, he's not a good passer. He's in the Anthony Richardson category of passer. So I'm going to go Bengals 38-12.
all right, big one.
Big one. And that leaves us with one more 1 o'clock game, and that's the Birds, my Eagles at the Commanders. Fun game.
That is a fun game. But I said before, I think Philadelphia is the best team in the NFC now, and they are on such a roll. And they handled Washington just a few weeks ago pretty easily. I know it's in Washington, so I'm going to make it a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, there's no scenario where you don't pick Philadelphia against just about anybody. Maybe Buffalo on the road or something
Yeah.
would be tough, or Kansas City even.
Yep.
Um, but other than that, maybe well, no, Baltimore they played and beat them. Yeah,
In Baltimore, yeah.
yeah. So no, so I got to go
Minnesota.
Philadelphia here.
I
Yeah, we got to give them. We got to respect them, man.
know we really do.
Or Green Bay, maybe I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, I'm going Philly, 28-23. So I do have it a lot closer than the last game. I do think it will be closer. Washington wants this. Their fans want it. They're just not good enough yet, and they're not going to get there. But I do think they put up a much better fight this time around.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, listen, I agree with everything you said. This is the Eagles have established themselves as a really good team, and I'm loving it. The Commanders are good, but they're just not. They have not stood up to the elite this year well. So, but I still think they're on the come, and they're going to be a tough team for a long time. And that'll and divisional stuff on the road. I'm going to make it kind of almost as close as you, 30-24 Eagles.
Yeah,
Oh,
I see it. Yep.
right on. And one stat I forgot to read when we were going over last week, and it's a interesting one on the Eagles' part. In their 10-game win streak, last week was the first time in any of those 10 games where they had more called passes than called runs.
Really,
I hadn't heard that stat until yesterday, and it surprised me. That was an interesting one.
very interesting. Okay. Um.
All right. Now we can move to 4 o'clock,
Well,
and
wait.
oh,
Do we
oh
did we miss one?
crap! What did I miss?
When is Buffalo, New England?
Oh, that's at 4.
Oh, my bad.
Nope.
For whatever reason, I had him written down to one, so I was the one that was wrong. My bad.
All good. And we can start with that at 4 o'clock. That works out just fine.
Perfect.
So, Patriots at Bills. And I said the biggest point spread that I'd seen all year was last week at minus 14.5 with the Ravens. This is minus 14 for the Bills.
Yeah, that by the way, that closed for the Ravens and Giants at 16.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a huge number.
Might have even been 16 and a half. Either way, it went up.
It's like Penn State at Akron.
The University of Notre Dame against Notre Dame High School.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
So, this is not one to think about. Buffalo, I think they could, they just smash them 34-17. Josh Allen um, does Josh Allen things. And he might even come out in this game. He might not even play the all 4 quarters. They got to start thinking about that. Um, yeah, 34-17. I think it's 34-10, and New England gets a gimme, nothing touchdown at the end, garbage time for Drake May. But Buffalo handles their business easily. New England is no good.
Perfectly put. I agree with everything, and I'm just going to jump right to the score because I don't have a whole lot to break down here. It's a very good team against a very bad team. I like Drake May. It's all the positive things I have to say about the Patriots. And Bills win 32-9.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Now, the team that you and I just can't quite work up the respect for. We're getting there, but an interesting test this week: Vikings at Seahawks. And I'm going to look and see if there was a Geno update since we started. There was nothing conclusive by the time we had.
That's important.
Sure is. Let's see here. Oh, he's undergoing tests. Oh, good news on Geno's knee.
Oh, okay.
Mike McDonald optimistic Geno will play despite knee injury. It's
Okay
not
then.
definite, but it sounds like he's trending towards playing.
Okay, well, I went back and forth with this thinking he was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to the point where I wrote in pen Seattle,
Okay.
and then I blotched over it and put Minnesota
Nice.
because of what we were talking about last pod. We have got to put more respect on them. They they deserve our respect, and if that's the case, they are a better team than Seattle. Plus, Gino, even if he plays, he's banged up. I'm going Minnesota 27-16.
Okay.
I
Okay.
almost caveated it if Gino plays, but I'm picking Minnesota even if Gino plays.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that all makes sense to me, man. And listen, this is you and I've been holding out on the Vikings. If they win this game, I officially respect them. I have to because that's a playoff contending team, a team that you and I have called solid all year long, and they have to beat them in a big spot on the road. And I'm gonna they will force their way into my respect fully if they win this game. If they don't, then they're right back to like actually they drop down to worse than I thought before. So this is an interesting game for them and huge for the standings in the NFC. I'm picking the Vikings 27-21.
Okay.
All right. Well, from one really good, interesting game to this one,
Garbage.
Jaguars at Raiders.
I knew that's where you're going. Don't care, won't watch. Jacksonville 23-21. Next.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll be just as quick. I almost caveated because Aiden O'Connell may or may not play this week. Then I decided I didn't care. Jaguars 17-14.
Yep, just an ugly, low scoring, no fun. Mac Jones versus Aiden O'Connell, or who's the other? Or
Uh,
who?
the guy that used to be a Falcon. What's his name? Crap.
Stidham?
No, no, he used to be there. It's now the guy that used to be a Falcon that was the Notre Dame. Oh God, I'll get it.
I can't remember.
Oakland, or geez, Oakland. Oh my God, I suck. Oakland. I'm looking for Oakland's quarterback. Oh, it's funny. Desmond Ritter.
Desmond Ritter.
Yep.
Yeah, so Desmond Ritter versus Mac Jones does not move the needle.
No, no, no. That's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's bad news.
No disrespect to their fans, but I just can't. I can't get on board with that game. What was your score again?
17-14 Jaguars.
Let's
Yeah.
move on.
And the last thing I'll say about that, and we'll move on very quickly, is the Raiders showed absolutely nothing against a faltering team in their home field last week, whereas the Jaguars played a somewhat resurgent Jets very tight. So that's my thinking for picking them. That's the end of it.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal.
It is. It's going to be bad, and it wouldn't surprise me if either team wins in some horrible, sloppy way.
Yep.
All right, now another tight. This is a tight matchup. It's an interesting game between a faltering team and one that's hanging on to their playoff chances. 49ers at Dolphins.
Yeah, Miami needs this, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they really need this.
bad. I mean, I think they might. I don't know if it's mathematical, but I think they might get eliminated this week with a loss because they're
Yeah, they
they're
might.
barely hanging on.
Yeah, barely. So they got to take care of their own business, handle what they can, and I think they will. San Francisco is a shell of itself. Maybe the window itself is closing anyway, but these injuries certainly don't help. They're just so beat up as well. And Yeah, I don't think Miami's going to have much trouble, to be honest. I have Miami winning this one, 26-12.
Oh, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, I have them actually, handling business in a big way. I'm, so far out on the Niners. I'm just done.
Listen, I don't blame you at all. I mean, they are a mess, and nothing is working.
I
you
mean, they had
know,
that game against the Bears, but the Bears stink too.
yeah, and
And
they even
Miami's
like
better than the Bears, that's for sure.
yes. Listen, I agree. I don't know what to make of the where the 49ers are going. Um, it stunned me that this game was only a 1.5 point favorite for the Dolphins at home. Typically, in even if you think the teams are equal, the home team usually gets three. So that was a very low line to me, but I don't care. I'm going Miami. I'm making it close out of respect for this weird line. I think more than anything, 23-20.
All right.
Okay. Now we move to Sunday night, and it's your guys at home facing the Buccaneers. Buccaneers at Cowboys.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for the Cowboys, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay's playing really well. They're in their playoff mode. This is their playoff home stretch. They got to win, trying to secure that division. Dallas isn't playing for anything. Although I loved what I saw last week, I don't think it'll be a walk in the park. But I do think Tampa Bay is the better team with way more to play for. So I have 30-21, but I do want to say I think it's going to be like 30-23. No, I'm sorry. I think it's going to be like 21-23 late, and Tampa Bay gets that last touchdown to ice it.
Right on. Right
Like a
on.
2 point game right up until like the last couple minutes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man. Listen, this is a really good game. I mean, the Cowboys are a lot better than they were a couple months ago. I mean, the last 4 weeks have been pretty impressive on the Cowboys' end. I mean, they've not turned themselves into world beaters, but they've turned themselves into a respectable team. They really
Yeah,
have. And it
yeah.
did not look like this season was heading that way. So it's a big credit to, honestly, it's a big credit to McCarthy, who I'm not a fan of, but I got to give him some credit because this team could have gone in the shitter like the Giants very easily. Um,
And after the first couple of games, you thought that's exactly where they were going.
Oh, it looked like a fait accompli. It looked like it was a done deal. You know, you and I both wouldn't have blinked if they had fired Mike McCarthy in week 6.
I called for it. Remember, I said
Yep,
Monday he's going to be fired.
that's right. I forgot about that, and that's absolutely correct. And I was with you. So, yeah, this has been quite a turnaround for
Well, that's
sure.
why I gave it. I wanted to make sure that the listeners know that I do think it's going to be close late. But of course,
Yeah, and I'm
I'm not
with you.
taking.
Like I'm going close too. The big thing to me in this game is was last week's like not I was going to say return, but it's the first time emergence of a run defense for the Cowboys this year. Is that real? Because if it is, it's going to help them immensely. Oh, sorry, my phone fell. Sorry. Here we go. I'm back.
All good, all good.
Uh,
I don't know. I mean, they're getting. I was going to say they're getting more healthy, but with Overshown now. But again, this kid who played for him, and I don't know his name. I'm going to learn it eventually.
yes,
Maurice or whatever it was.
yes, yes.
Uh, he played phenomenal. You read off his stats. He led the team in tackles and had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery,
Sack and a half.
sack and a half. I mean, all that. So
Yep.
if he's going to keep doing that, I think the defense has a chance to be respectable against the run. Probably not that great still though, but not horrible like it's been.
That's a huge factor for the Buccaneers' success. So if the Cowboys can keep, like, if they can keep Bucky and Rashad White from combining for more than 100 yards, they win this game probably because Baker, as good as Baker's become, he's still a lot better, and every quarterback is, but it's big with Baker when he can use play action
Yeah,
successfully. So I'm going, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to take the Bucks, but I'm going to make it close, 31-24, and it would not surprise me if the Cowboys win this game. And I'm half, as much as it pains me to say it, I'm half rooting for it because I would not mind seeing the Bucks eliminated from the playoffs, and I would way rather somehow the Eagles having to face the Falcons than the Buccaneers.
yeah, yeah. I hear you.
I don't see it happening, but I'm rooting for it. All right. Anything else on that one?
I'm ready to move on.
All right, last game of the week and another huge point spread. Saints travel to Green Bay. Apparently, it's going to be pretty cold. It's not a surprise. And play the Packers. Saints at Green Bay.
I mean, they're going to get steamrolled, right?
I think so.
I can't see any scenario where Green Bay doesn't win this game and win it comfortable and big. Um, they're playing really, really well. Um, yeah, they're coming off a big game last week. 35-13, Green Bay with the win, and it might not even be that close.
That's I agree 100%. And I'm double checking one thing. Yeah. Um, Not that it would have changed anything for me, but Derek Carr is now out for the season. Um, so you're looking at either Jake Hayner or Spencer Rattler
Oh,
playing.
jeez.
Yeah, which is why I am picking up Green Bay as my fantasy defense on anyone I don't have a great defense on to start this week.
Yeah,
Listen, I don't see it any way other than what you said. Just a just a destruction. And it's by the way, Alvin Kamara might be out too. If Alvin Kamara is out, the 9 points I'm giving the Saints becomes 3.
yeah.
I'm going to take Green Bay 35-9.
I 35 too.
Yes, and what was your 13?
13. I'll tell you
Nice.
what, though. I hope we remember this week because I'm not going to write it down. But if Kamara doesn't play, I would my prediction would be a shutout. I would say 35-0.
Love it. Love it. Yep. And I'll say 35-3.
Okay. Oh, did you give an upset?
Oh, I did not, but I did pick one. Where was it? Hold on a sec here. Glasses back on. Oh, my upset is the Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yep. It was between them and the Texans.
Yeah. I told you I wrote them in pen, Seattle for the win, and then reconsidered and thought about what I gotta start respecting Minnesota, so I put
Totally,
them
man. And it's funny because we're both kind of like trying to respect them, but still disrespecting them at the same time.
in.
We can't get over ourselves with them, man.
Vikings fans, it's not on purpose, I swear.
It's not. It's not. We really, yeah, it's not. Oh goodness. All right, a couple true and falses real quick. Anything else on the schedule?
No, I'm good. Let's do the true and false.
Okay, and I have one piece of news I want to throw out as we're doing the true and false that I found absolutely fascinating. Did you see what former NFL player got hired as the head coach at Norfolk State today?
No.
And it might be one of the least likely people I would have ever expected to become a coach, Craig. Michael Vick.
What?
Michael Vick is the new head coach of Norfolk State.
He's not like the passing game coordinator.
Nope, nope, not the quarterback, not the passing game, not the quarterback's coach, not anything, not the offensive coordinator. He is walking on to the football field as a coach for the first time as a head coach.
That talk about fascinating.
That's what I thought, man.
That
That's
is
exactly what I thought.
fascinating. Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait to see where that lands. All right, true and false time.
Wow. Michael Vick.
How about it, dude? How about it? I never. You could have given me a list of 100 former NFL players, and I would have picked them all over Michael Vick.
I think so. God, I when he was in the league, and I was big into Madden at that time. He was the most annoying player to play against.
Oh, he was awful to
Uh,
play against. Yeah.
yeah, and not only that, because like lost a little respect for people that played with him because they didn't really have any real skill in the game. They just used him with his 90 something speed at quarterback and just ran all the time with him, or would be able to run backwards and sit back there for a minute and a half, avoiding everybody, and then finally throw the ball.
I'm 100% with you. I'm a big old school Madden nerd too. I
I mean,
totally understand what you're talking about.
we used to have Madden tournaments, and
Dude, where you had to bring PlayStations to an actual place?
yes,
I did that too.
really, that's
100%. We used to
fantastic.
do it at a coffee shop called Sun Earth Moon.
No, we went to houses. We went like the first one was at my house. We had 6 PlayStations and 6 TVs going, and had played Madden all day long. We all put in like $25, and the winner got all of it. Um, yeah, we had like there was like 12 of us or something. It was insane.
Dude, we really should have been hanging out all these years. That's crazy.
Yeah, and not only that, but like I was a big time Madden nerd. I mean, huge Madden nerd.
Oh, me too, man. I can't overstate it. Like I would get Madden
I Yep,
and
go
run
ahead.
franchises for 6 straight months.
Yeah, or I would get Madden. I'd be there for the midnight release because it would come out at midnight.
Nice.
So I'd be at GameStop at midnight,
Mm-hmm.
play till like 4 in the morning the first night. I would be online. I once, when the early days of online, we're going on a tangent here, but that's okay.
Love it.
Um, the early days of Madden being online, I was ranked like it was something like out of like 60,000 people that were ranked, I was like number like 900 and something.
Oh my God, that's
Like I was
awesome.
insane with it. We had a tournament at ESPN, and there was 64 people in this ESPN tournament, and I came in second.
That's amazing. And at
And the only
ESPN,
reason why I came in second is because I'm an idiot and I got cocky at the end. I was winning the game, and I was all I had to do was kneel on the ball, and I would have won the whole thing.
oh no.
And I got cocky and threw and decided to throw the ball instead. Got picked off and ran back for a touchdown. I lost.
Oh, that must have hurt, dude. That sucks.
That was horrible.
Oh, you got Miracle at the Meadowlands.
Yeah, it was a miracle.
Oh, that's tough, brother. Man, that's wild. See, now I was always such a caveman. I wasn't even on the line for anything until like 2015. So I missed all that stuff. Unfortunately, I was playing by myself in my house, and but I would in the era when people were before online. I had many tournaments where we would take the PlayStation. One where we had a crew one time playing Madden in one half of the place and doing Twisted Metal 2 in the other corner.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a bunch of them. We had one. We had like two or three at my house. We had one at one buddy's house. Another one, at another. We had like probably I would say a total of like 7 or 8 tournaments, all over the course of maybe two or three Madden seasons. And we were all crazy for it.
That's so awesome, man. I
And
love
I
it.
would go. I'd be so into it and practicing. I'd go sometimes in just for an hour straight, do nothing but kick field goals.
Oh, I love it, dude. I
Like
love
just
it.
to train myself. Like I was that into it. I was going nuts.
You were it was like you had some '80s song playing in the
Yeah,
background,
it was a
like it's like
montage.
Karate Kid training sequence.
It's really what it was. They could have totally montaged it.
You're the
Around.
best. Nothing's gonna ever let you down. That's so awesome, dude.
All right.
All
We're
right,
making people's ears bleed, I think, with our singing. So let's get back to the true and
that
false.
you're right, and it was fun. All right, here we go. So we already discussed because one of my things was the Eagles are now the favorite in the NFC East, and you said yes, and I agree. Right.
In the NFC, yes.
In the NFC, right? Yes. Well, okay. Let's make that question the NFL. What does that become for you?
They're number 2.
Behind who?
Buffalo.
Okay, that's what I would think too. Okay, all right. Yes,
But
they're
it's a
they're
very it's tight.
they're
It's
even
definitely
to
tight.
me. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
know who to
yeah.
pick between them honestly. So, and I can respect you picking them over the Eagles for sure. Okay, okay. I think we also kind of answered this indirectly, but I'll ask it anyway. Will Levis's play in the last month guarantees the Tennessee drafts a quarterback in the first round this year?
I guess they have to, right? He's shown even his little market improvements were not that great. I mean, he's not a franchise builder, even when he's playing okay. So yes, that's true. They're going to have to draft a quarterback, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes and where they're picking and who they pick.
Absolutely. And by the way, there is zero consensus so far about who the top quarterback is. Um, there's a lot of people like the guy from Miami, whose name I haven't memorized yet. Shador Sanders is obviously in the mix, and Beck from the Georgia. The guy from Allard from Penn State just went back for another year, so and he was predicted to go in the top 10. So there's one guy out of the mix. So it's going to be fascinating. Um,
How on the draft, real quick? How high does
sure.
the two way player go?
It'll be. I think he goes to either the first or second team that doesn't need a quarterback. And now it just depends where that all that lands. You know what I mean?
Is he coming out as a receiver? You think is he going to be
I
used primarily in the NFL as a receiver?
He's saying he is determined to play both. Now, the last guy to do that at all really was Champ Bailey, and he only did it on rare. I mean, I don't know how many catches he had in his career, but it couldn't have been more than 15, I would
Yeah,
think.
And Dion did it.
Say again?
Dion.
Oh, Dion, absolutely, absolutely, while playing baseball at the same time. Yeah, crazy. Um,
He played offense, defense, and center field.
yeah, right. That's right. Um,
Um, no, what is his name, by the way? I always forget his name.
which guy?
The two-way player.
Oh, it's dang it, I'm right there with you. It's Travis Hunter.
Oh man, come on.
Travis Hunter.
Thank you, Travis Hunter. Yeah, I think you're right. The first team that doesn't select like he'll be the first non-quarterback selected. I think.
I think so. The only guy that I keep seeing that seems like could be over him, and I'm gonna have to find him real quick, is the receiver from is it Arizona State? He's 6'5", and I haven't memorized his name yet.
Okay.
I'll find it very quickly here. Um, oh, what is your name, dude? Here it comes. Oh, Cam Ward is the quarterback from Miami whose name I was forgetting earlier. He's in the mix for number one overall for sure.
Yes, he is.
Um, oh, here it is. This is why I haven't memorized his name yet because his first name is Tataroa McMillan.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and he's from Arizona, not Arizona State, and he's 6'5" and has 84 catches for 1,319 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. And some people, if they just want a receiver, some people are saying this guy's a better receiver prospect than Hunter, but Hunter's the best prospect overall because of the special things he brings. So there's a chance he's not the first guy, but I think he will be.
All right. By the way, Ward is my pick for the Giants. I think the Giants are going to take him,
Okay, okay, that makes a lot. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't argue against that at all right now.
and
Uh,
hopefully it's a complete bust.
who?
Hopefully he's a complete bust if he's
Yes,
on the
yes. Oh,
Giants.
perfect.
Just
Absolutely.
because it's the Giants, and I rejoice in their tears. I'm sorry.
You
It
and me
just
both,
makes
my
me
friend.
laugh so much. I cannot get enough of it. I'm addicted to going on YouTube every Monday after a Giant loss and just watch the reactions and all the people. It's just so much fun.
Well, it's just such a joy to find out that the ineptitude of the Gettleman era has just followed through to this era. Because I
Yeah.
was I was devastated when they fired Dave Gettleman because I was so into how bad he was, and but they're no better now than they were with him. So
Actually, they're saying that if they lose out, which they're probably going to, this will be the worst Giants year possibly ever, or at least since what was it, the 1960s or whatever, where they went had one win or something, like in like 40 to 50 years.
incredible, dude. I mean, that's my especially given that this new regime started with a 10-6 season.
Yeah,
Like it just it's astonishing. It's
in a
astonishing.
playoff win.
Yeah, and this poor quarterback, whoever it is, Ward or whoever it ends up being, is going to come in and have to play behind this same awful offensive line that has existed there for the better part of a decade, and they can't they just can't seem to do anything about it. So this whoever it is doomed right from the get go.
Right. I hope I didn't jinx it, and they're all of a sudden real good, but I don't think
At
so.
least he has Malik Neighbors now. At least he has one positive thing to work with, which is better
Yeah.
than Daniel Jones had for 4 years.
Yep.
All right, all right. Quick, two more. Um, Oh, we talked about this too. The Lions have reached their injury tipping point. That's obviously a true, right?
True.
Okay, and then I think we talked about this one off air, so I want you to give the listeners your thoughts on this one because I find it fascinating. It's the most commonly mock draft thing that I've seen so far, beyond even beyond number one, and that is Ashton Gianti going to your Cowboys wherever the heck their pick ends up landing.
Well, what I said then and still rings true is I do not believe in picking a running back in the first 5 to 7 or 8 picks.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's smart. But after that, for a truly special guy, and he could be that, I'm not going to have a problem with it, which is right where Dallas is going to be taken. I'm assuming 10, 12, 13 in that range. If they take him, I might not love it. I'm not going to be jumping for joy, but I'm also not going to hate it. It'll be fine. I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. It really does. I'm very been very impressed with Rico Dowdle, and it seems like their assets could be better allocated to other positions. However, he does look like a special player, and I wouldn't, if it was my team, I wouldn't be like, ah, damn it, you know what I mean? I'd be like, okay,
Right.
cool, we got a great running back, cool,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, and just to give some context, right now the Cowboys have picked 14, and Gianti the season, and some, Travis Hunter was a special player, so that's how he lost the Heisman. But this guy lost the Heisman rushing for 2,497 yards, 7.3 yards a carry, and 30 touchdowns.
I mean, that's just dumb.
And by the way, just to give us some context, that's not even close to the record because Barry Sanders rushed for, I think it was 48 touchdowns.
But that's, I mean, that's the company he's in. Or,
Exactly. If you're
maybe
bringing up
close to
Barry
being in.
Sanders, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe there's a good chance he will be special. But the thing is, with a running back, you got a window of about 5 or 6 years, and then chances are he's not special anymore. So, you got to do your due diligence in other places. But if you got him, he's young and he is so good. He'll be at least make it fun to watch.
Yes.
And with Dak back and we'll still have CD and all that, well, it should be a pretty damn good offense. Um, so it'll be fun at the very least if it happens. Now, where is he predicted to go?
Well, right now I'm looking at a mock draft on CBS Sports, and he is predicted to go to the Cowboys at pick 14. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I won't hate it.
No, and I would listen. I wouldn't either. I'm with you. I'm like, if it was me, I would have a hard time pulling the trigger on it because I would probably want to find an offensive lineman, especially in your case, or a defensive lineman or something. But the guy's so good, it would be like, oh, okay, so yeah, you know,
Yeah, you're getting a dynamic player, and you never really can be that upset over that. He's
yeah.
dynamic.
It's kind of like when the Eagles spent a lot of money on a dynamic running back this offense. A lot of people were like, "It's too much money." I was like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah,
We got a dynamic player.
right. And you're not taking him like I was saying before, top five, top seven. 14, fine, no problem.
And I'm with you on that too. Yeah, because top five, you're paying a boatload of money, and that just doesn't work. If you're paying in the top five anymore, you're paying as much or more than any free agent running back got this offseason, including Barkley, Henry, Pollard, any of
Yep.
them.
So yeah, I'm fine with it.
Right on, right on, and that's great, great answer. And that's it.
All righty. We're gonna wrap this one up so we can stay under the hour. But real quick, off football, how, what happened to Cody Bellinger that he just doesn't command anything in a trade?
I'm fascinated by it. We talked briefly about this, but we didn't get to dig in. We didn't have time before the pod. I mean, it is stunning that all he went for was buying out his contract and a mid level receiver, or like a mid level pitcher.
Yeah, Cody Petit for Cody Bellinger.
I mean, that's crazy to
I
me.
mean, that's
Like,
that's a no brainer. Even if Bellinger isn't that, isn't what you think he could be possibly with the short porch and being left-handed. Even if he's a bust, you didn't give up anything anyway. What does it matter?
exactly, all you doing is paying the guy and gave up somebody who was
And the
probably not
Cubs
going to.
and the Cubs gave you money.
That's right. They didn't even have to eat the whole contract.
The Cubs gave $5 million a year.
I said this to you on the phone, and I just can't believe this reminds me a lot of a different sport parallel of the trade. The Cowboys made two trades last offseason that I can't stop talking about 2 years later almost because I couldn't believe they let Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore walk into there for two fifth-round draft picks between them, guys who were valuable contributors, especially Gilmore, but even Cooks was solid for them, and certainly both well worth a fifth-round draft pick. And I just couldn't believe the rest of the league. Nobody was willing to pony up a fifth and a seventh. Like that blew my mind. And this one is the same. I can't believe there's nobody out there that was willing to give up somebody a little better than Poteet and and make them pay only $4 million instead of $5 million.
Yeah, and it basically just makes his contract go from 24 million to 19 million a year, and that's fine.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That's the same. That's a million less than the Phillies are paying Nick Castellanos for the next 2 years. And I'd probably rather take my chances on Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, we'll see what he does, and I like the lineup is shaping, rounding into form a little bit, and they got they can't be done. They have to get a third baseman and or an outfielder or a first baseman and put Bellinger in the outfield. But either way, one more player I think, and that's probably going to do it for the Yankees. But I think it will be one more.
Yeah, I'm curious, man. And like like you said, the really cool thing about the Bellinger move for them is it lets them get whatever they can now between first base and outfield. They don't have to get one or the other.
Right, he can play both, and he plays both well. He's won a Gold Glove.
Yeah, man. No, he's no, he's not just some dude standing there that couldn't play, so they stuck him in first base or the outfield. So yeah, no, I'm with you. It's listen, there is always the chance that you get the horrible side of Bellinger because he's wildly inconsistent,
Right.
and he is far from of a lock to be a valuable contributor to your team because every other year is. I saw this stat earlier. Where is it? Yeah, every other year, his OPS goes down 117 points.
Yeah, it's just terrible.
But it's
But
for
again,
what they gave up, Craig. It's
you
not even
gave up nothing.
close.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they gave up a bag of chips and a guy who was probably not even going to do much, pitch more than 50 innings for them next year.
Yeah. So I'm all about it. So if you want to hear us discuss that, we're going to be doing that on Jordan's podcast, The Unicorn. That'll be the baseline. The name of that podcast is the baseline. It's his baseball podcast. Me and Al will both be on it. We're going to be discussing all the moves that have been made, including this Bellinger move. Hopefully, a few more names drop before we get to that. We haven't set a date yet, but I would assume it's probably going to be the end of this week.
Yeah, we were talking about possibly Friday. Jordan was wondering if we wanted to do that or wait for some more moves. I said I was fine either way. So whatever you decide, you're the tiebreaker. I'm in if you want to.
I mean, I really would like Burns to sign. I would love if Burns signed before we do this.
I'm with you, man. That's the because I think a lot of stuff starts because there's been a lot of moves, but it's been a trickle. You know,
Yeah, because baseball's broken with
baseball
this
sucks. Yeah, so
with this free
we love
agency.
the game, but they have so many things that they need to fix about it, and this is day number
I
one.
hate that
It drives you and me both nuts. I know. So
because
yeah,
all the other leagues are like a frenzy for a few days, and it's just nonstop signings, and it's so exciting. Meanwhile, baseball gives you one name every 3 days.
I know,
It's like,
man.
what the hell?
It's crazy, dude. It's nuts. It should be so awesome, but yeah. So I'm down with that. Why don't we just wait until Burns signs at least then?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, we'll let Jordan know. So if you're listening still and you're a baseball fan, you want to check that out on Jordan's podcast, the Baseline. When Corbin Burns signs, then you know to start looking for it.
Boom, boom. And Jordan's awesome. If you haven't checked out his pod, check it out. Like you said, the baseline with Jordan. He's such a great guy. You call him the unicorn because he is a young guy that knows baseball inside and out.
Yes, he does. He's the guy that watches the MLB Network on a Tuesday night and catches Kansas City against the White Sox.
See, he's the modern day version of what I was and probably you were as a kid, where I was reading because there was no TV to turn on to watch. I couldn't go watch Sandy Koufax pitch on MLB Network in 1982. You know what I mean? So, but I was reading the books and the magazines and staring at stats and collecting the
I was
baseball
staring.
cards.
Yeah, I was staring at the back of the baseball cards and memorizing everybody's stats. I knew
Yes,
everybody's everything:
you and me
average,
both.
home run, stolen base, everything.
You and me both, man. Like Artie Lang, I knew it
Yeah,
all. Yeah, Artie Lang, by the way, can still recite everybody's batting average from I think it's the 1962 Yankees or some fascinatingly obscure year. You know what I
it's
mean? And he knows
crazy.
everybody's batting average.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love it.
Huh. Okay, so that's gonna do it.
All right,
That's our final podcast for the week. Make sure you guys check out, if you haven't already, the review show, and we'll be back next week to review week 16 and preview week 17. Just about done. Crazy.
Yeah, we're closing in on the end, my man. It's been another really fun year. Can't wait to see how everything shakes out in the end.
All right, Al. Once again, thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for sticking with us. And until next time, I will see you later.